Welcome to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy is a veteran U.S. Navy SEAL, a former protective officer for the CIA Global Response Staff, founder and CEO of the Able Shepherd Program, a husband and father of 4, and a personal friend of mine. Now here's Jimmy.
Hey guys, Jimmy Graham here on behalf of Able Nation. What is Able Nation? Able Nation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to enhancing safety in schools, churches, and civic groups, specifically protecting children. Well, what is safety? Safety is the state of being protected from harm, danger, risk, or injury, often achieved through preventative measures. So we provide financial assistance to enhance those protective measures for our nation's future, that is, our children. Prayerfully consider going to able-nation.org and making a one-time, or better yet, a recurring donation, because wars need to be funded. God bless each and every one of you. I love you guys, and please, please, please remember, together we can save lives.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. I'm your host, Jimmy Graham. This is BK. It's been a minute, my brother.
Yeah.
And we're doing a recap over the past, not even month. We got so much crammed in. Like May was just so on fire.
A blur.
We just got to do a catch up, man. We got to do a sit rep. So let's get to it, man. You've been playing some golf.
I have been very fortunate, traveling around a little bit between Colorado, Arizona, Southwest Colorado, helping out with family.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
And
man.
every so often, getting around to golf.
Every so often. Well, good for you, brother. I know it's not easy, the kind of family investment you're doing, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
So good on you. You know what comes to mind when we're talking about, I know the lineup, you don't yet, is I've said this a couple times in the past couple months, because I get so much out of the men's groups. I get so much out of taking time to think. Like I was telling, the young man down in Texas, Noah, one of the things I wrote in his kind of like the words I wrote to him and gave to him with that knife was take time to think.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this out there on the mountain was you have a lifetime of experiences. In school you're going 100 miles an hour, but you haven't taken time to process even half of it, So that's what I think this podcast will be, is just processing. There's been so much goodness that's been coming out of some of the events, some of the meetings, some of the business opportunities, all that. You want to be careful to not fly by them. I remember C.S. Lewis, there's a movie called The Most Reluctant Convert, and I really remember that. It resonated with me. It's like every day go take a walk for an hour.
Yep.
Like not talking to a buddy, go focus. Go talk to God, walk alone, be still, know He is God, process those thoughts. I know too many people, myself included at one point, that would go from Sunday to Sunday, thanks for the message, Pastor, then go do none of it. Just fly right through and not really apply anything, like taking those notes we talk about, the Word of God, the Spirit of the Lord just spoke to you, and you didn't do anything with it. Yeah. You're like, hey, good lesson, and then you didn't do it. Like, it's a big deal. So I keep these notes. Like when I take notes in church, I keep them. When I take notes in my men's group, I keep them. I've got these little 3x5 card things, and I pull them out every once in a while and look at them. I'm like, that's as true today as it was 6 months ago, And I've taken them up in the mountain and just pulled them out and just prayed and read through them because I need to revisit them, right? So hard to really, I had to go back to my calendar because you say, I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. I remember 2 days ago, so I was fasting. But anyways, yesterday, I'm like, I don't know. So it was like, what have we been? So he goes, what have you been up to? And I'm like vapor lock. Like, I don't know. Like, what have I been up to? Well, here's what I've been up to. So
You had a BDR. You
had a BDR.
Memorial Day celebration.
Memorial Day. Yeah. Becca, birthday, graduate, all that stuff. And you've been through this, but this is my first time, right? As far as having your firstborn that did her thesis. Like her thesis, she goes to classical school, Ascent Classical. They do an excellent job. But then for part of their grade, they have to do a thesis. And it was amazing to me how so many kids had faith-based, like rock-solid positions on a topic that they had to defend.
Yeah.
Like to the administrators. And it was really, really good because they did well. And hers was on the effects of unforgiveness. But it was rooted from the book, The Scarlet Letter, which is a deep book. I mean, it's just a dark. It's one of those books where it's just real, and you can pretend you can. When we say facing evil, if you can't face it, you can't deal with it. If you can't deal with it, who will? there's some things that need to be discussed. There's some things that need to be, life is messy. People are messy. So to sort through those, it blew me away that an 18-year-old went through this, not only came up with those points, but then defended them.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful to see. And as I understand it, many of the thesis readings, presentations were very professional, and they were way deeper than I was capable of when I was, not only 18, when I was 28. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, excellent job. I mean, people are being affected because they're talking about, and if you don't know the gist of the book, there was an affair between a pastor and this woman, and then here comes the husband, and he's trying to find out, she's pregnant, so who is it? All this other stuff, and he gets consumed with revenge, and he's consumed with guilt, and she's just trying to be a mom and live, even though she's got the scarlet letter, she's an adulteress. But how do you move on from that? And there's people in the audience like crying, like, "Ooh, I need to call grandma," I need to forgive, like whatever. And it was just like, wow, this is a lot. So that was quite the experience when you see your firstborn belting out something that mature. It's like, ooh.
And I can just picture her. She is so strong and determined that there's no doubt. When she says it, it is spear in the ground. Like, here we are.
Yeah,
So,
and so much thought going into it. And we've put a lot of stock into who you are and whose you are, and she knows.
Yeah.
She knows who she is. She knows whose she is, right? So to walk into a room, and we set the temperature. She doesn't walk in and say, "Okay, are we being hot or cold?" She walks in and the temperature changes.
Sets it.
You're like,
Yep.
"What?"
Yep.
That's going to serve her well. So then from that, the next day, I was on the 11th and on the 12th. I reach out to a buddy. I caught one of his podcasts, and I was like, I'm going to try to get a hold of, and when you're trying to like link up with people you know or you don't know or whatever, there's gatekeepers. You go online, hey, it's me, blah, blah, blah. It might not even get to him. And then it dawned on me, I ran into him at one point, and I'm like, I have his number in my phone. I wonder if it's the same. And I hit the button, hey, what's up, Jimmy? What's going on? And David Rutherford, right? The David Rutherford Show. I'm like, hey man, I got this book and a couple books out, we're doing this thing. And we just hit it off like it was 30 years ago.
Now back up a step. Why was he a buddy?
So in my buds class, I believe he got injured and then rolled into 209. So 208 is my buds class. And we had, when he would bring up, it's like we were right back there, Silver Strand they call it, in Coronado, showing up as nervous new guys and just picking up, you're good brother, go and grab it. Going and he would mention a name, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy, and it was, I believe it was very honoring to the guys that when we showed up, we talked about it much of the time, you show up to a thing where everybody's trying to figure out the man they're going to be, and there's already men there. And you're like, why? Like, I'm 20-something, you're 20-something, why are you so far ahead of me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to survive, and you actually have a strategy here, you have this character, you have this credibility, people are gravitating towards you, and I don't understand, One, I was a freaking knucklehead, and I'm punching people out and being an idiot. But you're not, so, and there were many guys like that, by the way, but some guys had already had experience, whether it be in college or the academy or the Naval Academy or just life. They just had solid role models and they demanded more, so they showed up as more. And there were guys like me and others that needed more. Like I needed help figuring out ocean swimming for a standard. Like I thought I was a good swimmer. I've said that before. I wasn't good at swimming. I was good at not drowning. Like at the Lake of the Ozarks or rescuing people. I don't know how many rescues I've got in a wave pool in Missouri.
Yeah,
you got the little thing, you
right?
jump in, you save somebody. It's like fighting in the water. So it's fun for young dudes that get after it and have wrestled and like martial arts. You basically get in a fight in the water, and then if you win, then you save a life. You know what I mean? And it just happens really fast because they turn the water on. People don't know. They fall off their thing, and then you're getting after it. But when people get scared, so it's just cool.
Yeah.
But that ain't swimming, right? So when you're talking about a collegiate swimmer, especially like one guy was a collegiate swimmer, helped me with some technique, and I just followed him, got better. And another guy paired up with me, and he was an ocean lifeguard. Ocean lifeguards are different, right?
You're part of the food chain.
Oh man, you're part of the food chain, and it's a different type of swimming. People say, what's the big deal with the ocean? Ocean's
Everything's
unforgiving.
fighting you.
Everything wants to kill you. You're drinking salt water the whole time. It's just rough. You're getting stung by jellyfish like all the time. It's just whatever. But growing up in that, he had a level of confidence going into phase 2, which is dive phase, which is they basically use the water to get you to quit. And it was as easy. He was like, man, this is Tuesday. Are you kidding me? So 2 months of trying to, we call it weed out phase, including Hell Week, trying to get rid of you, trying to see what you're made of. 2 weeks of let's get you in the water and watch you truly flip out, drown, come to terms with
Is
drowning.
this in the pool, punching you, taking the mask?
Oh yeah,
off,
yeah,
down
all
low?
of it,
Okay.
all of it. Yep, all that, and the tied up behind the back and doing all that. You basically have to mentally come to a place where you're like, I would die before I didn't pass, and I need to calm my body down, because when you're going to drown, obviously, it's built into you. Alarms start going off. You got to turn them off. You got to be able to turn them off. And it's really like everything in you wants to freak out, and if you do, you're going home.
Yeah.
So that was just a really good. But he had already conquered those demons, right? And then third phase, not saying you've made it because people leave, but now it's like, let's go try you out at SEAL stuff. Let's go blow stuff up and shoot stuff. Let's take you out to this island where you have to integrate well with a team, and you're still getting beat, and you're still getting messed with, and you're still getting hit in the surf, but not near as much as first phase. They're kind of like sorting out who you are, who are you, And it was just a really cool experience for a young man to go through, And like I've got, just probably like everybody, I've got like a high school, I get the little things, and they're like, hey, there's a reunion, it's the 20 year, it's the 25 year, all that stuff. We were so special in class of 92, and I'm like, if you say so, like I got nothing, High school wasn't pleasant for me. I did get called back and was made, what's it called, Hall of Fame. That was cool, that was special, because they're like, hey, he's done some stuff, and I came back and reminded them, like, hey, there's that one guy out there who's struggling, like clawed his way through high school. Don't give up on that dude.
Yeah.
He's got a calling too. So that was cool. I was just honest about all that stuff. But in the Buds class, quickly, Rut and I fell back into a groove, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun going back with him and talking and seeing what he's doing now, both striving to be better men, both having, kids, and trying to figure out it's time to define better. What does better man mean? Okay, let's get after it.
And if I'm doing math, this is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Into Buds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he looks great, sounds great. He's always been full of energy.
Pretty funny. And
Funny dude. Yeah, funny guy. And I mean, I think his call sign's Elvis, but it's like Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses. Bro, what's the big deal? It's like when I see him and Christian Stewart and some other dudes in my lineage that are like that, I think of like the dude, but dangerous, but capable. Like, hey, the dude abides, man. It's like not a care in the world. But when it's time to work, man, those guys turn it on. I don't think the dude has an on button. These guys are chill, and they're like, hey, man, whatever. And actually, Bub was like that. Glenn Doherty, out there in Libya that died in the 13 Hours episode and all that. He was just like, hey, man, whatever. Like, nothing's a big deal. And then when it's time to work, it's like, okay, now it's a big deal. So it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And some people told me that when you get excited, you speed up. And I got a pretty fast tone anyways. I thought I was fast, and then I watched some Ben Shapiro stuff. But when I get excited, I do get going. And when I listened to it, I was getting tired listening to it. But I hope everybody got it. And I told my men's group, I was like, man, I need to work on slowing down. They go, don't. I enjoyed it. And Dean, he was saying that his wife, they were listening to it. Jeannie was like, what'd he say? Like, what'd he say? No. Like, and she was like over there like, I missed it. It's like, well, then back it up. But it was, I'm glad that they enjoyed it as well. But that aired, and that's gonna, we're gonna reconnect more. And I'm enjoying, that for the past, and it's June, so happy 14 years, Abel Shepherd, right? Duty to Act LLC celebrates 14 years this month. But it's just been long. It's been head down swinging. It's been like, not just the valleys, not just the peaks, but the valleys, is most people in the program and watching the podcast, they don't get to see how the sausage is made. Both in, they don't get to see the struggles. They don't get to see me having big boy conversations, removing people from the program. They don't get to see, when people are struggling, divorce, suicide, you name it, right? That people will share that stuff with me. And they don't get to celebrate the successes, the many successes that I see. Like we say, we started this to save lives, as in maybe someday we'll save lives. We've saved lives.
A lot.
Yeah. Many people have told me I wouldn't be alive. I was in a bad place and I found a family. And now they're successful, they're still married, they're all this stuff. It's very, very rewarding. And now we're having some conversations with out of state. We've been doing this for a minute.
Sure.
We're gonna take time and figure out the right partner to do it the first time with, is license them. And I just told a couple guys out of Beaumont, Texas, that I really hope we work with, that this is the best part. The industry skipped the best part. This whole people thing is complicated. This whole people thing's the answer. This whole people thing is beautiful. It's your duty. It's your duty. Once you figure that out and get a community that you train together, you play together, you serve together, you do all that stuff, I don't know that there's much better than that, right? It's really, really good. And to help people through their struggles, and then that's reciprocal. Then they're there for you when you need it, right? So that's just as real as the day is long. Okay, so then Rebecca has on top of all this, she has her 18th birthday. So she's 17, she has her 18th birthday on the 13th. And we were talking about this before we started recording. Like, what happened, man? I blinked.
Blink of an eye.
And there's a gorgeous young lady who is, this just happened, so it's fresh on my mind. She's walking through and she's got everybody wants her attention. She's with her friends, she's with whatever, she's on the phone with her boyfriend, she's doing all this stuff. And a little 7-year-old that adores her says, "Can you help me with my backpack?" And whatever she's got going stops that second, and she plops down on the floor and she goes, "Well, let's figure out what you want to throw away." And she's going through her school backpack, and this little girl is just doting on this role model, and it's a good option. If you're looking for a role model, then this is a good one. But I said, "Becca, thank you." And she's like, "What for what?" I go, "For taking time for a 7-year-old that thinks the world of you." And she's like, "Yeah, I enjoy it. I love her." And I'm like, "I know you do, but it's so apparent." Because like you, in one snap of the fingers, you became a little mother that's just invested in this young lady that just thinks the world of you. That means a lot, right? So thank you. She's like, "Yeah, you're welcome, man." You know, and she is just a sweet, sweet, but bold, line you out kind of soul, you know. Like I was saying,
Tell the story about Christian.
Christian, I leave the house today, and his job is to clean out the dishwasher, right? So she's like, "Hey," and we all call him Boy. It's probably not good. At some point, we need to stop. He's the only boy, right? "Boy, come in here. You know, it's time to clean out this thing." But first, it's like, "Christian, can you come clean the thing?" Now he's on a little phone video game thing, and then it's like, "Christian, we need your help." "Boy, get in here, clean the thing." And he comes in, okay, you know, all that stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you know, she's kind of in charge. You know, when she says you go." He gets in there, and he's, you know. And then you just don't really say no to Becca. You know, it's like she's right. This is supposed to get done. Sometimes you got to dial that in and be like, "Hey, you could use your manners. You know, you're right, but the way you're doing it's not right. You know, it's the way and the truth in life. What's the way? As in the method you're doing. It's like, yeah, you want to consider that, right?" But something about that 18, you're just like, man, my heart hurts selfishly, but it's also proud of her. You know, and that's fantastic. My mom, my brother, and my nephew all came in relatively close. So Mama comes in for her thesis reading, for Rebecca's thesis reading, spend some time, and we get to go out to lunch and actually talk. Like talk about my dad that we lost, you know. Talk about some things. I didn't realize that my dad actually led her back to church. Didn't know that, you know. Thought it was her that was like pulling him in, and it was actually the other way around. I didn't know that. The day she left, Steve, my brother, and then his son, Gary, we call him Lucky, since he was a boy. He's just become a very amazing young man, you know, and that was just good to see. But he's taken on shooting. He worked at a Range USA out in Kansas City, but they can't draw. They can't do anything really cool but shoot guns. Shooting guns is cool, but it ain't the coolest. Yeah. The coolest is tactics. So they came out here for 3 days of training and did very, very well. You know, my brother has, this community has embraced my brother Steve, and led him to the Lord in my garage after a backcountry discovery route, motorcycle adventure ride. And I just love it. I love spending time with these guys, but they were here for a purpose. So they spent time with not just me out at the ranch, my guys here, got to see different instructors, and got to absorb everything. And it was not missed on them at all. You know, and Gary's been through just the most horrific thing you can ever be through. You know, and I don't know, do you remember all that? Oh yeah, you're part of it. So
Couple podcasts about it. Yeah.
Man, it's just that, you know, and I'll share it. And he's allowed this and brought it up and all that stuff, and he wants awareness, you know. But to have somebody beat your child to death, a 2-year-old, I can't imagine. You know, just a beautiful little girl, you know, and it was an abuse situation through the girlfriend's new boyfriend that ended up ultimately taking his life. But to put the pieces back together and be the kind of man that I just saw is a win. Yeah. You know, it's like there's a little girl in heaven right now, and she's not in pain. And then there's a dad that's he's a staple for his new family and her family. Like he's been years and years ago. He's remarried, and now he is that focal point. He is that rock in the family. And so Steve is that guy, and then modeled it, and now Gary's that guy, and then they get to come in here and top off the tank and go back better.
And if my timeline is right, we called it the Ride for Stevie.
Justice for Stevie.
Justice for Stevie. And And when that ride was done, it was in your garage.
That I led him to. Yes.
And hey, go get your Bible. Boom. The kids were right there. I can still see that picture in my mind.
Yeah. So truth be told, I guess I can say this now. A lot of that was awareness. A lot of that was my brother.
Yeah.
Come hang out so you don't kill a man.
Yeah.
And I've had that conversation more than I would like to admit in just my life, where people call and they're like, I'm gonna kill somebody. And they're not necessarily wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, vengeance is the Lord's, but sometimes you need a brother, this time actually a brother, to just say like, hey, come here. Come, let's go do it.
That's a very real conversation. I can tell you, I was at county line turning right onto Quebec when you called.
Yeah.
And I said, when do we leave?
Yeah.
And that's right where my head
Yeah.
was, hey, we're...
And he didn't know that we had already committed to that ride for that purpose and had T-shirts made.
Yeah.
So he didn't know that, so we pulled out the shirts. We had shirts made, and they had like the support crew or whatever it was, and putting those on, and it had the wings and the little baby feet and all that stuff. It was just a beautiful thing to be a part of, and my family needed to heal, and Grandma, Steve's wife, Val, just a beautiful person, and it cut her to her soul still. I mean, and I don't blame, that was Grandma and a little baby, and that was her world, and the way that it happened. At the funeral there was, I don't know if they were more afraid of the Navy SEAL uncle or Grandma, but the police were there ready for bloodshed. Yeah. So anyways, to see how this moves forward and people put pieces back together, and I was talking to my mom, I was talking to Steve, I was talking to some other people about how things get out of, you're doing the right thing, but you're just rough with language and all that stuff. And I'm like, not here.
No.
Not here. He'll be reminded, he'll be asked to watch his language, and he will. And he did. And then you can actually just open up, relax, and have real conversations, right? With no posturing, no tough guys. It's just talk as men, and it was really, really good. So praise God for that. So I really enjoyed the visit, and he's good. He's a good shot, but he just, I believe he just saw, because he does competition shooting, and he's got the tricked out race guns and all that stuff, but he just got a taste of tactics. Brother, tactics blows shooting away all day long.
Yeah.
Shooting's a part of it, but the actual part is the tactics. Show me, just go do it. So man, heart's beating, going through, racing through, challenging, failing, challenging, passing, doing all this stuff. It's just very good, and now you leave better, like I could do this, not just shoot a can from whatever. We were out at 100 yards. Hey, we pulled his race guns out. I call them race guns, competition guns, and we're just sitting there just blasting steel at 100. So now I've got this new bug. I sent Parker a thing. I was like, we need to talk about 100-yard guns. So that's super cool. And they're like, Steve's like, I can't hit. That's 100 yards. I'm like, do it. Try it. It's basics. Just do exactly what you did. Miss. Ting, ting, ting. I'm in it. Yes, you are. That's it. Then followed by, so while they were here, this is cool. This is why there's so much going on. We had to jam this in and just make sure we didn't miss this moment. Months and months ago, there's a kind of a group of under the wire kind of folks. We get together, we talk about things in the community, and then we launch off some initiative. One of them was Pride Fest several years ago, which just happened. We'll talk about that in a second, where there was senior citizens being assaulted, physically assaulted, and children being physically molested and groomed, and nobody was doing anything. So somebody mentions it to me. I say, I'm going to go check it out. I look into it, and it's absolutely horrible. And there's pictures everywhere. Nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole, right? Because it's the protected class. So I said, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going, you're invited. It ended up being 70 dudes, right? They pulled off the cover shirts, had a shirt, Stand to Protect Children. Jesus loves you, so do I, on the back. Not kidding. That's what it meant. And it made national news, and it was a big deal. It was a big thing here in Douglas County in Castle Rock. Anyways, another event happened on the 16th, which was, we decided to call it God's Country Barn Revival. There's a Blake Shelton song, God's Country, that played a little bit of part in it. And we said, let's just do it. Let's just remind the world that this is still a free nation. This is still, one nation under God. All of those things, and let's call it God's Country. This is God's country. So country theme, cowboy hats, it's at a ranch, John Lee Sanderson, thank you guys, appreciate you. And a little committee started, and we started planning it, right? After we started planning it for months and months and months, the president comes out, and he says, on the 17th, we're going to rededicate America to one nation under God. We planned 16th, he planned 17th, right? So he says that, and I'm like, okay. They tried to move it. I go, no, don't move it. Let's leave it here. So he left it there. So I'm not going to DC. I'm here. So in Douglas County, we invited a bunch of people out, probably not 200 people, but shy of that, out there. There was a mechanical bull. There was literally like these birds, I forget what they call it, but there's all these birds, hawks, eagles. I got a picture with an eagle right here doing like a pose. And I'm like, people are like, oh, is that a stuffed? I'm like, that's a real eagle behind your head. Like, it's like, yeah. Hopefully my ear is still attached, whatever. But it was all of these music. It was, my pastor came out, did an amazing message, flipping flapjacks. Dan Cooper comes out, serving everybody up as much pancakes and sausage as you can eat. It was just a beautiful thing. And then followed by the next day, and we were talking about that. It's like it's amazing that this is happening, but it can't be lip service. That starts in you. So let's get after this. I said, by the way, you're invited tomorrow. Rededication. This nation is one nation under God, but there's also the Pride Fest in Parker, Douglas County. And I've already seen the pictures. There's devil horns, there's fake breasts, there's makeup, there's all the men that are shaved down and doing poses and all that stuff. But we were so swamped, we didn't have a chance to do a lot of anything, planning all that stuff. And I was like, so I prayed about it. I said, I'm going to go. Just go when you're invited. Not even going to go in this time. I did register, and as soon as I registered, we got spies everywhere. So as soon as I registered, all these things started coming out within these circles. He's going to be back. We got to do the thing. We're calling all volunteers. This is an emergency. I mean, they're wearing 1911s. Fake boobs in 1911s. Brother, freakiest thing you ever saw, right? So you go out, there's a guy named, this is tormented, demonic dude named Eli, and he's like the Parasol Patrol, like a tough guy with a kilt, and he was a Marine. He's got an umbrella that's rainbow. Just confusing, 1911. Mean mugging you, but the way they set it this year, there's a fence because they have a liquor license, because when they obviously groom kids, it's better if you're actually, liquor. So they have all this. Somehow it's all good, and not good at all. It's actually horrible, but it's authorized. Yeah. But this year, the police weren't treating them like the protected class. I show up, they're all yelling, already snickering through the fence, and I hear him screaming at a cop, yelling in his face. They can't be here, we gotta pray. And this is the security guy. The director of security is a loose cannon that's totally out of control, and he's armed. So the cop handled it. I didn't recognize the cop, but as he's talking, he's like, they are on the sidewalk, walking in a park. Like, do you understand that? But our permit says they can't be anywhere. It does not. It says you got right here. There's a protest. He's not protesting. They're walking. Brilliant. Meaning, enforce the law. Maybe even name yourself law enforcement, but just enforce the law, right? But from there, it's like, good. Everybody's doing their job. And I said, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk around 7 times and pray. Not that the Lord would strike them down and condemn them to hell. I'm going to pray for them. So we're just going to pray and walk 7 times. That's it. That's all I ask people. Small group. We talk to everybody and say, just show up. Do your 7 laps, take your time, pray, go home. So walk around. My man Danny's with me, man. It was so good. We spread out a little bit. Lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, giving little nods. My man Patrick, some other people, Amy. We're just doing this thing as dictated by the Lord. So that's all we can do. It's not up to us. It's up to him. Time to go home. Start walking to the car. Not big, Salisbury Park. Start walking, little sprinkle. Like, Danny, is this going to happen? This is so going to happen. A few more steps. We can see the cars flooding down. Thunder, lightning, close the whole thing. Canceled the whole thing. I'm like, what's happening right now? We didn't even really get wet because as we're getting there, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. The last thing I hear before I get in the car, hey folks, the rain's here, so we're just going to keep an eye on things. Praise God. I get in the car, shut the door. By the time I drive out the front, it's coming. And my wipers are on like this. I go back to Castle Rock. The weather clears up. I drive into my daughter's graduation party in our driveway, park down here, walk up, people start showing up. People start coming up and they're like, brother, it is coming down in Parker. I'm like, really? They're like, coming down in sheets. I get a text, canceled the whole thing. I'm like, what's up? So it's like, okay, there it is, man. It ain't up to me. I'm gonna do what I can. It's ours to plant, it's his to grow. And that's just, I said it's like a little wink. It's like, I see him. I got it. Sometimes he's like, see you. Wow. Good stuff. Me and Danny just couldn't stop. Like, what is going? This is so cool. He's texting, brother, and they had given a message and played this song about the rain cleansing and washing away before he left church because this was on a Sunday. They moved it to Sunday so we wouldn't show up. So I went to church, then showed up. Super cool. Rededication, Pride Fest, grad party, senior banquet, and then there's a banquet. So then you go to the school, small school. And the teachers, really cool thing, again, I've never lived this, But the teachers, they get to choose a teacher to speak over them. So they're going to say something about them. And some of them were like kind of ribbon. It can be, they said, well, it can be kind of a roast. It can be honoring. I'm like, I don't know why you'd roast a teenager.
Yeah.
But some of them were kind of like in that area. So I'm wondering, because the guy that is speaking, the teacher that's speaking over Rebecca, I've met him, but he's very, when I say dry, I don't mean bad. I mean, he's just very deep, right? So not really like a ha-ha gotcha comedian stand-up guy. And it was short. There wasn't much there, but it was deep.
Yeah.
And enough to where I asked, I should have brought it. I asked, can you have him send me that? You know, and Rebecca's like, whatever, I think you sent it to me. I'm like, please forward it to me, because you want to hear that later. Yeah. So his gist of it that really caught me was, there's the word that comes to mind when he thinks of Rebecca Graham is her faith, her bold faith. He says, you know, and unfortunately, and I'm paraphrasing, like folks like me, he's like, I don't like to admit this, but guys like me prefer their faith to be on cushioned pews. Her faith is going to be lived out, and she will have the scars, you know, from falling on the sidewalks of these streets. And I'm like, oh, like, little girl, like what, you know, I don't know what else they could say other than, because we've talked about, do you want to talk about it or do you want to live it?
Yeah.
And he's sitting there telling me that what he sees in this young lady, she's going to live her faith out, right? I'm like, brother, thank you for that. You know, so I'm going to take those words and keep them and remind her later, you know.
Go back up.
Oh man, it's so good. So that was the banquet, and then the graduation. And the graduation was just, when they go up there, they read a little something for them. And then you're just seeing these beautiful young ladies that you knew when they were younger, and they played volleyball together, and they got better together, and all this other stuff. And they're just solid women. They're solid women. 100 years ago, they'd have 2 kids by now. Yep. But right now, they're standing up there and they're professing their faith in a public school. Chips fall where they may, and it's correct. It's right. You know, so that was beautiful to see. Not a small thing, not even a little bit. Nope. Then Memorial Day comes around. That's always, so the cool thing about Memorial Day is that a couple of years, like I said, thing after thing after thing, me and Parker go out during the week, we embed all the stuff, we dig it all in, we get it all set up, because it's serious pull-up bar racks times, you know, 10,
6 or 8
50 people.
stations, yeah.
So people are, you got to go get that right, so when somebody comes off, they don't hit a part sticking out and roll their ankles, so you got to bury it, the bases. So we get that all set up. Day of, you know, it's Monday, so we've already had this amazing weekend. On Monday, we go in, and it is, everybody shows up, and people are intimidated by CrossFit stuff. I'm like, you don't have to do anything. Like, literally, all this is optional. Come, let's talk about Memorial Day. Let's honor what that is. Not about Michael Murphy alone. It's about those who died. You should know what Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Independence Day is, and why they're different, right? Because they're all their own thing, and they all require their own thing. And my kids know them all. So we do this. I'm sorry, the night before, I'm praying about what I'm going to say. Because I've done things like Michael Murphy talking about the story, talking about the incident in Lone Survivor, talking about, I think last year I read off the SEALs that I personally knew and buried, right? Because that just, Lord put that in my heart, and I had pictures of the stuff, and I shared something. I'm like, I'm going to read these names. So I just went through and said, this is how, you know, this is just a taste. But these are personal guys that I knew. This year, I'm laying in bed, and it was more gratitude. It was more of a challenge. Yeah. And the words from the songs, the Joe Diffie song, Ships That Don't Come In. Yep. It's so good, right? So that comes to mind, so I listened to it, and I'm like, tomorrow I'm playing that. I don't know how it's going to land, but I'm going to play it. And the gist of it is going, you know, young man goes into a bar, and he's a scrappy young dude, whatever, and there's this older gentleman, they start just talking and sharing stories and drinking. And he says, let's see, the things we're calling heartaches, they're hardly worth our time. We bitch about $1 when there's those without a dime. Then he says, as he ordered one more round, he said, I guess we can't complain because God made life a gamble and we're still in the game. And I've said that to where there's people that had never made it home, but I did. So if I'm still in this game, you won't see me sitting down much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's time to go. So it was less of like a, you know, sad, what are we doing as a nation? It's so disrespectful to those who served, to more of a challenge like, where's my mouthpiece? Yep. I'm going in, get out of my way. You know, so I shared that a little bit. Then I said, if you'll indulge me, face the flag, and I want you to absorb this. And we played it, and it landed. It was good. You know, so very good. Did the Murph gruel to it was ugly. It was ugly. So it was, I decided to go with armor. I decided to do the full thing. there was a lot of spitting and sweating and snotting. And when I get in that phase, don't talk to me because I won't even know you're there.
Yep.
I'm just going to go for until I throw my 20 chips,
And
and then I'm going to do my other mile. And it was gut fest.
how was the body this year? Knees, ankles, shoulders?
Praise God. Like I wouldn't do it with body armor if it wasn't.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, I
Last
am
couple
very
years you've
great.
been nipped up a little
Yeah.
bit.
And there's years where I couldn't, maybe I did a portion of it or I didn't do the vest, but thank God, at 52, nothing was tweaked enough for me to get through it, so beautiful. We wrapped that up on Monday, and Wednesday we're hitting the mountains for the ITB one.
Yep.
And man, that is, I just looked at something right before we started, and it was Melissa posting her pictures and all that, so I commented on it. And I said something about like prayer every morning, steel horses in Rocky Mountains every day. Every night there's a bonfire with solid conversation, ... and s'mores, right? Because they just suck down s'mores like it's going out of style. And wrapping it up with Sunday Mountain Church, where we actually went around the horn, and what are you thankful for? And everybody chimes in. And then let's read this devotion. What did that say to you? And everybody chimes in. We go around, and everybody chimes in. What are you going to do about it? And everybody chimes in. There was a new family there that the daughter had come before, Brindley, and just a sweet girl, and competent writer and all the stuff. But she evidently was talking it up so much that her family's like, "Can we come?" So brother that's going to the Army next month, 2 parents, great folks that, they're not new to the motorsports kind of thing, but they're new to this. So this community has a way of bringing people in, and it was just awesome. It was just really, really good. And it's like, what are you going to do about it? And Brindley's like, I'm going to spend more time in my Bible. And the son's like, I'm going to watch my language. It's been getting out of hand. Mom's like, pass, and that's okay, right? And Dad was like, be less harsh. The way that we're talking, that particular devotion was talking about how we speak to people, how we're transmitting, how are you talking to your kids? And in the mountains, you got to get sometimes pretty harsh, or sometimes it's an emergency and you got to raise your voice, right? You're not in trouble. I just got to raise my voice because now, right? And other times they mess up. They're kids. They're going to mess up, and you kind of snap at them. So watching grown men saying, "Son, I apologize. I'm going to work on that. I shouldn't have said that to you," and it's just good because he needs to hear it. And in front of your peers, I'm not shying away from that. I'm going to say it because I messed up, and I'm going to own it. I'm going to apologize to my son right now, and then he's going to perhaps follow that lead, So really, really good. And I think after 5 days, 4 nights, it's time to come home, but it's bittersweet. Oh, and the princess came, man, my Eden Joy.
Yeah.
Very first, and I hate saying this, but the girls did their level best, meaning my wife and daughters. It's going to be dirty. You're going to be tired. You're going to miss Mom. And she's like, I'm going.
Yeah.
So she goes, and just God bless Melissa. And Amanda takes her in the buggy with Sophia. Yeah. So they're in this Can-Am zipping around, and she's something. She's just like, hey, kind of rolling in the buggy. Melissa's there, which she knows. Reagan, which is a little bit older. Yeah. Brindley, braiding her hair. Just I'd look over, and she's just on, she know Brindley. She's on her lap, and she's braiding her, knows her now. Yeah. Just all these people just loving on her, caring for her. I believe that Marty's wife, Mandy, was a nurse. She's like right over to my boy when he almost breaks his leg. He smacks his leg on there, and everybody's just taking care of each other. Mm-hmm. Like that, we talk about take care of each other. It can be a motto or it can be a lifestyle. It's like, no, that's what we do. Yeah. And there's more opportunity when it's that dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I've said many times, they don't call it safe place to land mountains. They call them Rocky Mountains, right? So when you go down, it hurts. It hurts. And we said, we thank God for hurt, not injured. Mm-hmm. So nothing involved the hospital, but we were really close. Christian he took his eye off the prize. He's getting cocky. He's got a bike with some juice now. And he's on a trail, but he got off the road because he'd be cool, because they parallel. They go like this. Uh-huh. And he looks over at the guys on the road and then kind of catches something, hits a log, his right over his boot. Those boots are magic. You gotta have boots. You gotta have plastic armor. You gotta have a helmet. But smacks it right above the boot on the shin, and I thought it broke his leg. Thankfully it didn't, but he's pretty bruised up, and and jammed up a little bit. But he's hobbling around and milking it now. So
I did that. An experience with Christian and Chase on one of those ITBs, sitting around, not so much the campfire at night, but the campfire in the morning with coffee.
Yes.
And Christian opens the Bible and reads an entire chapter.
So good.
Amazing.
When the kids ask, can we read
do
the
that?
devotion? Can we read the Bible? And you're like, what was I thinking? Of course you can. Like I wouldn't have expected them to ask, and now they want to do it. Of course you can. So we got that on video again, where they're just reading and everybody's just sitting there just pondering and taking some time and taking some notes and then chiming in on it, right?
Yeah.
That's every day. It's every day. It's like, okay, this is model better. Don't just talk about, you should be better. Well, define better and then show me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so last two things. One is just as kind of an update. We're making a pretty good, pretty aggressive move. It's time. We've been here 10 years. We'll be moving out of this location within 3 months. So we give her 3 months notice, about 2.5 months now. And that's a big deal, right? Very thankful for this opportunity to be here at this live fire range, leasing this space, but it's part-time. It's very, very expensive. It's part-time. Brokered another deal. We reached out to the community because of these ridiculous unconstitutional gun laws in Colorado and said, let's weather the storm together. We can actually help your business. We can show you how to do this. We can do lease ranges. We can do all this other stuff. And one range got back to us, Damage Factory. So they've always treated us well. We've never sold a gun, ever, because of the FFLs and all this stuff. Because of our leases, basically, we're restricted. But I said, your range isn't being utilized for a lot of this time. How about we pay you money? We come over here, we do this, we send you all the gun traffic and all that stuff. Let's weather this storm together and then get through the other side of it. We're gonna learn a lot of lessons, and they took us up on it. So we called pretty much the gun ranges in this immediate area, and people can look at us as competition if they wish. We don't have competition. They're not doing what we're doing. We're doing a different thing. This is a ministry first, period.
Yeah.
And we teach people protection. Shooting's a part of it. We're not focused on making shooters better shooters. We're focused on making protectors better protectors. And it's better. It's better on every level, right? So I don't see these other people as competition, but they see me that way. So one did call back, and we're going to go make some money, right? So it's super cool. We are pursuing a live fire option, restructuring our smaller, what we call HQ, for the interim as we pursue another facility and bring everything under one roof. So that's super exciting. It's been a long time coming. We're bringing another guy on July 1st. There's a lot of things that are happening right now. It's good to reach out to investors and just check their status. And everybody I talked to said yes, they're in. So it is, and it's a $100,000 investment minimum. And I'm like, where are you at? And obviously, it's all conditional. They got to be, what we put in front of them. We've got all the pieces. We just got to clean it up and update it. Like the price of concrete has changed. We just got to update it. Thank you, Nick Higgins. But getting all this together, we've figured out a thing that the nation needs. So we're going to do it right here. But then we've already we've cast out a couple times, and I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is Texas.
Yep.
For whatever reason, Missouri and Texas, they're on the radar. I've already talked to Missouri. It's just real slow getting back. Some folks called Frontier Justice. And there might be an opportunity there. I don't know. I just walked in the door, talked to some people. They're interested, but then they said, talk to the trainer. Trainer never wants to talk to me. So then it just dies until somebody actually calls me back. Can't make you do it. Conroe, Texas was another one that didn't work. It went all the way to the finish line prior to signature, and they wanted to change a significant thing. That's okay, because you can do whatever you want. But I'm not going to sign my name next to anything that's not excellence. Yeah. So if you're going to go into something I don't believe in, I can't do it. So we just talked to some guys out of Beaumont, Texas. They're very interested. So we just sent them a package, the initial intro. But what it looks like is you get licensed all of this goodness, not just a shooting program, a training thing. No, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle. And it's not a new thing, it's an old thing. It's a Christ-centered culture saying take care of one another, right? And it makes money. So if you want to make some money, let's do this. You're going to pay us, and we're going to come down, and we're going to take a look at your thing. You're going to come back here and train for 2 weeks. 1 week, doing phase 1 and 2. You're going to go home. You're going to come back and learn how to be an instructor for phase 1 and 2. I'm going to help you design a shoot house. I'm going to do all this stuff in your pre-existing range, and then we're going to go make a bunch of money, and I'm going to get some of it. That's the deal. And once we do that, literally, the possibility is 10xing this company. It's already successful, 10xing them because of their training within 2 years.
It's already successful.
It's already
today.
Today,
I know it is because
yes.
It has changed so many people's lives.
Yes.
And the money is so insignificant. I know that doesn't make sense, but the ripple effect of the lives you have touched, impacted, changed, and made better. When you say teach, lead, protect, thousands upon thousands of people, if they thought about it, it traces back to Jimmy Graham and Abel Shepherd, and it changed their lives.
Yes, to Jesus Christ, right? It's like people are like, hey, follow him. It's like, follow me as I follow Christ, meaning if you can't see Jesus because you don't have the relationship, come closer to me, and hopefully before you even get here, you go, oh, got it, right? That's exactly what we're trying to do, and not look at me like I'm perfect. I'm just a guy trying to make it from breakfast to dinner like everybody else, but I'm serious about this stuff, right? So when we talk about total ministry, it means everything. Everything you do is ministry, everything, right? So guys they're like bored with Wednesdays and Sundays, if that.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey man, my dad, my grandpa, they had a religion that I can't connect with. It's like, yeah, because it was boring. And it was like, not only boring, but you're sitting there watching a guy die because he doesn't have purpose, and then he thinks he's serving by going to church. That ain't your service. I know they call it a service. It's not your service. Your service is from Monday to Saturday.
Yeah.
You go to Sunday to top off so that you can serve. My service looks like motorcycles in the Rocky Mountains. My service looks like AR-15s. My service looks like church security groups. My church service looks like all of these things. We got young men rising and saying, where are the men? We just did a podcast on that. Where are the men? My question, even more prominent right now, where are the women? Where are the women that are teaching young women how to be biblical wives? Where are you? I'm calling you out right now. Where are you? Do your frickin' job. I don't know how to make it more blunt.
No.
And one of the questions from David Rutherford is, why are men remaining weak? One of the answers, only one of them, because their women want them to. Why are men staying weak? They're getting a call by God, and God said go, your wife said no, and you chose poorly.
Yep.
The kids saw you. So you left a lineage of weakness, and I disagree. I just simply disagree, right? Okay.
And if you haven't seen it, go back. The Pure Man, it was a podcast in a garage.
Yeah.
It was a studio, but it was really special to be a part of that, because the gist of the situation is the young man wrote a letter to the old guys.
To the graybeards, yeah.
Kind of saying, hey, where are you guys? And then the old guy read a letter to the young men and got the group fired up.
Yes.
Lives were changed once again.
Yeah.
So if you just want to cut to the chase, you want to copy the letters, reach out. We'll get them to you.
And many people have, yesterday this happened, one of the graybeards, Chip, hits me up and says, in my church, there's 2 men that I want to connect with that ministry. And another guy calls me and says, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Talk to Eli. He says we need to talk. I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I know every time I've sat down with somebody who's reaching out, it's good. You know, all they need is to hear some true words.
Yeah.
When you get in a fog, you just need somebody to say something true. Like, can't find the leader at you.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there looking for, like, you're already on fire, man. Why aren't you modeling that for all the guys around you? And they're like, okay, that changes today, right? So all of those things that we talk about pretty regularly, men don't have. It breaks my heart that men don't have a connection with a small group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like, well, nobody around here. I'm like, well, we can't find the leader. It's you. Start one. Get one other dude. It's already a success. Brian, see you at the park, right?
Yep.
Invite 10 dudes. If you and Brian show up, it's already a win, right? I've showed up. I don't know how many times. You got to risk it. How many times have I had breakfast by myself? Not many, but I mean a couple. Where I show up, nobody shows up. And I make fun of it. I go, click, and I go, just hanging out with all my friends, having breakfast. And they're like, nobody showed up. The next week, there's 10 dudes there,
Yep.
right? And then you keep going for 9 years,
Yep.
right? So some of those things are just there. You never know who's hanging by a thread. That
Yep.
thread might be you, right? So why not reach out to dudes, and why not? Jordan Peterson says, how can you even think without speaking? So take turns, say things, because you're going to have to measure your words and say it and have it evaluated by men, right? So when iron sharpens iron, expect sparks. Some guys are going to challenge you, especially if you're wrong. Sitting there, bad mouthing your wife and abusing her and doing all that stuff, they're going to say like, hey man, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Now you do get to say true words, because we talked about this, that chivalrous thing about like, well, I'm just going to be honoring and not say anything and let her bash me all over town. That's not what that means.
Nope.
I've just seen lives destroyed from that. That leads to suicide, and all these other things can lead to suicide when people have a moment of weakness. No, you get to say true words, and if the truth offends, change you, because the truth doesn't change. But this whole, man, oh shucks, I'll just be quiet and let her do it. Nah, I disagree with that, right?
Yep.
Don't bash her, but say true words. And say we're each accountable for our souls. Let's be stronger, and let's enter a biblical marriage. And if you're not going to do that, okay, there's consequences.
Yep.
Hi, any parting words? Oh, and then just this is an announcement, because it hasn't happened yet, but it's cool that tomorrow night is the Midnight Urban Hike.
Oh,
and I want to get a shout out, guys. Check out, because I'm really impressed by this, and it is called Stronger Boy Way. It's Warrior Poet Society, John Lovell. Is it Josh McPherson? I think I'm saying that right. two McPherson brothers that had this program, and then when John Lovell got involved with it because of his platform, it just immediately went bigger. Think Boy Scouts, merit badges, but it's tactical patches. So if we do a welding class, you get a welding patch.
Nice.
You can put on your backpack, you can put on your wall, they give you a Velcro thing. You get a stack of patches.
You put it on burn mark from the slag.
That's right, man, just like cover it up, right? So to be able to do this, and the way we're doing it is, like we say everything, as we shepherd, I'm going, you're invited. Yeah. You can't make it cool, man. I'm not mad at you. Just try to make one of them. We're going to do, a lot of it's just you and your son doing it. One of them just comes to mind. It's called The Gentleman. And do some work, raise some money, take mom out, wash the car. She's driving, obviously, because her kids. Pull her chair out, order, do the thing, come back, just do that, and then here's your patch. So some of them are just one evening. Some of them are a long time. It might be like a jiu-jitsu thing, and there's a level. But he's very, very clear when I just thumbed through the book of, I think it's $150, like with discounts, for this kit. And it's a book. It's that big Velcro thing. It's a stack of patches. It walks you through it. But he goes, we just guessed. So if this is different for your kid, it says 100 push-ups. Let's make 50. Cross it out and write it. But then give him the patch. It's just whatever you want it to be. But the whole thing is to spend time with your son and model this. And some of them that are bigger, like welding, I'll get a welding class together, and then I'll invite them, and there'll be 10 dads there with their kids. So now there's some stuff you can do together. So long story longer, tomorrow night, we've done this for years, but we've never done it with kids. So the first time ever, we are going to meet, is that Littleton or Inglewood? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Over off Quebec?
Yep.
Yeah, that area. And at midnight. And we start walking. And we walk for probably 3 hours, somewhere around 6 miles. Then we tuck into the woods and we sleep, like a bivy sack, really light deal. Lay down, because it has rained before, so something waterproof. Lay down, everybody's like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm just going to spend some time with the Lord. I'm going to count. Everybody's out, right? Because 3 a.m. I pull out a whistle, my phone goes off.
30 minutes, let's go.
I just chirp, chirp, chirp. All these meerkat heads poke up like this. We get a head count and we start walking to breakfast. So we end in Parker, Colorado for breakfast. And people are like, you look like you crawled out of the bushes. Because we just crawled out of the bushes, right? Yeah. So it's good. And I was talking to Dan Hudick. He's like, of all the hiking I've done across Colorado, it never even dawned on me to hike in town. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's awesome. It's Friday night at 3 a.m. You get some looks, right? People are like, what is happening? Where all these dudes come from with backpacks? And one of the objectives is to go out there and I say a man should have a good pair of boots. Mm-hmm. If you've got a grown son, he should have work boots and they shouldn't look new, Yep. So getting all that stuff together with their feet stop going to a certain time, invest some money in some work boots. I think they should be like hunting type boots for possible emergencies. They're just made that way. The Red Wing is a work boot company, and then they have Irish Setter that is the hunt. That's what I'm going with. But I'll be wearing those. What would be best for this? Tennis shoes, because we're walking on a walking trail for 10 miles. But I'm also breaking in boots. So I'm not doing the tennis shoes. I'm going to be doing those boots. I'm going to get my pack that's a good tactical pack. It's for hunting. It's for everything. It won't be loaded up because it just needs my sleeping stuff. But every time you wear gear, you try it. And you tweak it.
What works.
And you tie up the straps. You do all this other stuff. So it is very much a gear shakeout thing. It is very much middle of the night, a bunch of dudes walking and talking. And it's awesome, and it costs that much. Your gear, once you get it dialed in, it costs you anything.
And you end at a breakfast place.
And you end at breakfast.
Hot coffee and pancakes.
Right,
Boom!
right. So that was just, it's a beautiful thing, and it surprised me in years past who showed up. Like Cookie showed up, 60-something? That's one of the best pictures we have. Back then it was called Egg and I. It changed, but it was called Egg and I. And I mean, we're probably 9 miles into a 10 mile. I'm like, how you doing? She's like, I'm ready for it to be over, Jimmy. But she's trucking along. And the last picture I took, she's like this right in front of that place. And we go in, enjoy breakfast, get everybody back to their vehicles, and then go crash out, man. It's super cool. So Christian damaged his leg. He's going to try to borrow a scooter because he can't walk on it. It'll make it worse. So he's going to try to borrow a scooter and do some of it and then rack out because he doesn't even know it. His friends don't know it. That there's a dad that's going to wake him up, get in the truck. Like, what's happening right now? And then he's going to get there and they're going to see all their classmates and be like, hey, what's going on? And then here we go. Yeah. So good stuff. A lot going on. Not got to get to, man. Right? So I love it. Get to do all this stuff. Praise God. And there's a formula that we found here. The order of precedent, meaning it's most important, spiritual, mental, relational, physical. But the recipe for men is opposite. Physical, Physically do stuff together. Go walk the mountains, go shoot guns, go do whatever. Build a relationship is next. Then mentally get stronger, more stable. Who are you, and whose are you? And spiritually, where that ties into whose are you? Spiritually, I don't want you to be prepared for a minute. I don't want you to be better for a minute. I want you to be better eternally. I want you to be prepared for eternity. So that's a big, big deal, and people are waking up to this. You're seeing this all across the nation. Another guy's 4M Ministries just hit me up and said, hey, we're doing this thing. They're more like the Chad Wright. Let's go out, get real physical and hike for a bunch of miles. Cool, man. Cool, whatever it looks like for you. I don't feel called at all to run an ultra for 100 miles. No. I just don't.
That's why I bought a truck.
I'll be honest, yeah, my truck will do it, right? My motorcycle will do it, like all that. But good on them, good on them. There's something to adventure unlocking men, and then once you give them their dignity back and show them a purpose, the world opens up, man. Because ministry should be exciting and dangerous and fun and all the things. Yes, there's going to be ripples in there. Yes, there's going to be challenges, but that makes it even better. Right? Once you know what you're dealing with, once you understand that the valleys are required to enjoy the peaks, got to do it. Yep. You can't appreciate good if you don't know about it.
Top of the mountain.
That's right. Helicopter to the top, to the top, to the top. Another guy climbs up. You're not seeing the same view. You're just not. So, all right. Any parting words, my brother?
Well, we're a little ahead of schedule, but happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you, brother. Happy Father's Day.
4 gorgeous children of yours.
Oh, it's an honor.
And happy Father's Day to you out
Happy
there.
Father's Day. It's a big deal, and I was thinking about this earlier because I saw something, maybe it was Cabela's or something that came through the mail and it said Father's Day. I don't even know what it is actually, but
it might be 2 weeks from Sunday.
2 weeks from Sunday. It's what an honor.
Yeah.
What an honor to be the father of children. It is exciting / terrifying, right?
It's an adventure.
When I pray over those kids, especially that boy, I pray different. I pray hard over all of them every single night. I'll do it tonight. But that look in his eye, he's funny, man. Mm-hmm. He's funny. And he's a good-looking kid. He's funny. He's kind. He's just an awesome guy. But he's got that look, man. When he gets either, whether it's adventurous or he's bowed up on me a couple times, and it's awesome. I love it. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, we'll go. I'm like, I don't think that's going to work out the way, for now, that ain't going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. But he's just fun. He's fun to be around, right? And to see that many of those little, with Jace, with him, with Donnie, with all, you see these little bear cubs testing their strength on each other. And sometimes you're like, cool it. Like, we're here to ride, but you're about to fall off a cliff or whatever, but it's just good. Yeah. And those young ladies, do the same thing. They're just looking, what are my options? And when they look at you and you're a train wreck, they might take it. That's an important thing. So if they look at you and you're a solid man and a solid woman, they might take that too. It's like people don't have to follow you, but somebody's considering it, right? So act right, get it figured out. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming along this adventure that's been 14 years. So, happy birthday, whatever it is. So if you're confused about this, Duty to Act LLC is the name of the actual business. DBA, filed the DBA doing business as Able Shepherd. Able Shepherd, we changed to that name in 2017, right? But we started this adventure back before Benghazi. Yeah. So we started this in June of 2012, right? On paper, launched it. It has been grueling to get here, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I learned a lot of lessons. I held my wife, wondering how we're going to pay the rent, all the things, right? But what we get to do today, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. And I think it's going to open up and provide a thing for this nation that we desperately need. And man, it's a riot. It is so much fun.
Life-changing.
So thanks for being along for the ride. Please join us on all of the social media. I'm not going to list them all. You know the ones, and please share them, because we know that people are waiting for these and they're clinging to them and they're sharing all that kind of stuff. I think there's going to be a hub. It's coming. I'm seeing special operators. We didn't mention that. A couple movies in the works, right? One of them is an action. I'm not going to talk about the actor just yet. I saw the teaser. It's a fundraiser teaser, but you would know exactly who it is if I said it. And as of right now, I may spend a week or two with him to finish him off, to make him look the part, like as a special operator, possibly a CI contractor. So it's a very exciting stuff. The other one is a documentary about special operators that have found the Lord and leading people exactly home. So that's super cool. So God bless you. Love you guys. Till we see you again, take care of one another. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again for another episode. Please be sure to follow us and support us on all of the social media. That's Facebook, YouTube,
LinkedIn, Instagram. All of that starts by visiting ableshepherd.com.